Hey guys, so I'm going to be using, this is my leftover yarn that I'm going to be using, and as you can see it's different brands. This one here is 198 grams, 354 yards and 324 meters. It's also a medium weight yarn. It recommends a 5.5 millimeter hook. And then this is Red Hat Super Saver. It's also a size 4 yarn. It recommends a 5.5 millimeter hook as well, but I'm going to be using a 6 millimeter hook, 6.00 millimeter hook. And the black yarn, I lost the label, but it's also Red Hat Super Saver. So I'm going to be using these 3 colors, and hopefully there'll be enough for my project. So let's get started. We're going to start with the green, and then we'll see how to blend the colors together. I'm going to start with a magic ring. Chain 3. That is going to count as my first double crochet. Then make 2 double crochets into the ring. So in total here we'll have 3 double crochets. Chain 2. Make 3 double crochets into the ring. Chain 2. Make 3 double crochets into the ring. Chain 2. Make 3 double crochets all into that same ring. Okay, now you have your 3 corners here. You can pull the strand tight, then chain 2 and slip stitch on top of the 3rd chain to close, to complete this row. So slip stitch, and you should have something like this. Slip stitch on top of the next stitch. Slip stitch on top of the next, and then slip stitch into the chain 2 space to start our 2nd row. Chain 3, which counts as our first double crochet. Make 2 double crochets into that same space. Chain 2. Make 3 more double crochets into the same space. Chain 1. Into the next chain 2 space, you're going to make 3 double crochets. Chain 2, 3 more double crochets into the same space. Chain 1, make 3 double crochets into the next chain 2 space. Chain 2, 3 more double crochets all into the same space. So what we're doing here is creating these shells, which are going to be the corners of our granny squares. And as you can see, we're chaining 2 between the shells, and we have the extra one that is separating the shells. Okay, so this is my last one. To complete the row, you're going to chain 2, or rather chain 1, and slip stitch on top of the first chain 3 you made. Then slip stitch on top of the next stitch, slip stitch on top of the next, and into the chain 2 space. Chain 3, yarn over, and make 2 double crochets into the chain 2 space. chain 2, 3 more double crochets all into the same space. Chain 1, make 3 double crochets into the next chain 1 space. Chain 1, then make a shell into the next chain 2 space. The shell is 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 more double crochets into the same space. Chain 1, make 3 double crochets into the next chain 1 space. Chain 1 and make a shell into the next chain 2 space. And you're going to repeat that pattern until you get back to where we started row 2 from. When you get to the end of the row, you're going to chain 1 and slip stitch on top of the first chain 3 that you have, and you should have something like this. Then slip stitch on top of the next 2 stitches, slip stitch in the chain 2 space, chain 3, make 2 double crochets into that same space, chain 2, make 3 more double crochets into that same space, chain 1, into the next chain 1 space you're going to make 3 double crochets, chain 1, make 3 double crochets into the next chain 1 space, chain 1 and make a shell into the next chain 2 space. Alright, you're going to repeat what we just did on the next 3 sides of our square. Chain 1, make 3 double crochets into the next chain 1 space, chain 1, 3 double crochets into the next chain 1 space, chain 1, make a shell into the next chain 2 space, and you're going to repeat that pattern until you get to the end of the row. When you get to the end of the row, chain 1 and make a slip stitch on top of the first chain that you have, on top of the third chain. So make a slip stitch, and you're going to slip stitch on top of the next 2 stitches until you get to the chain 2 space. Alright, so here we have 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. So you're going to repeat row 4 until your square is big enough, going from your one shoulder to the other. My shoulder measurement is 18 inches, so I'm going to add 2 inches and it's going to be 20 inches. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing. Next here, I'm showing you guys how I'll be changing colors in case you need to know. So usually here I would pull the green to slip stitch, but instead I'm going to use my next color, which is black. So I'm going to slip stitch with my black color instead. Then I'll make sure that the green is secured. Chain 1, get your scissors and cut the green off. Then I'm kind of going to push them to the other side. Then chain 3, and then continue with the pattern. Okay, so you're going to repeat that until you have enough rows, and then I'll be back to show you guys what I have and how I have mixed up my colors. I'm back, and this is how my granny square looks. I have a total of 19 rows here completed. My granny square measures it measures 20 inches across. My actual shoulder to shoulder measurement is 18 inches, so plus 2 it goes to 20 inches. So once you have that completed, you're going to place your tape measure at the neckline or where the top part is going to be, and then you're going to mark where you want your neckline to start, and then you will mark you will leave out the shoulder measurement for both sides. Okay, so if you have a stitch marker, this is where it comes in. I'm going to use this strand since I don't have my stitch markers here with me. So for me, I have measured 7 inches, and this is where my neckline will start. I'll have to do the same thing on the other side. Get your strand or your stitch marker and mark where you want to mark. Okay, so I now have my neckline and I have the shoulder parts as well marked out. So I'm going to just start from the next chain 1 space that I have next to the stitch marker. Then you're going to get the yarn, the next yarn you want to use. You're going to make a slip knot, and you're going to attach it to where you have your stitch marker. chain 1 to secure it. Then to start, you're going to chain 3, one, two, three, then you're going to make 3 double crochets in the next chain 1 space, chain 1, make 3 double crochets in the next chain 1 space, chain 1, make 3 double crochets in the next chain 1 space, and you're going to repeat that until you get to the end. To complete the row, you're going to chain 1, and here we have the chain 2 space. Then you're going to place the 1 double crochet, and you're going to leave it at that, chain 3 and turn your work. Then you're going to make 2 double crochets in this first chain 1 space. The first chain 3 counts as the first double crochet, so we have 3 here in total. Chain 1, make 3 double crochets in the next chain 1 space, chain 1, make 3 double crochets in the next chain 1 space, and you're going to repeat that until you get to the end of the row. Here I have this 1 space left, so chaining 1, make 2 double crochets, and the third double crochet you're going to place it on top of the chain 3, and you should have something like this. Row 3, you're going to chain 3. You can either chain 3 or 4, it's okay. So here I have chained 4, turned my work, then I'm going to skip all this and work into the chain 1 space, making 3 double crochets, chain 1, make 3 double crochets in the chain 1 space, chain 1, make 3 double crochets in the next chain 1 space, and you're going to repeat that for the third row until you get to the end of the row. And basically that's what you're going to repeat for this front panel that we have started. And you're going to repeat those 2 rows, row 2 and row 3, until you have enough inches, same as the back panel. Once you get to the end of the row, you're going to make a double crochet on top of that last stitch. This is how my work is looking, and as you can see, the front panel is starting to form and it's coming along well. So you're going to keep repeating that until you see that your front panel aligns very well with the back panel. Like it has to be on the same inches. If your back panel is 20 inches, make sure your front panel is also 20 inches from the shoulder to the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to repeat that same pattern, and then I'll change colors, then I'll be back. And actually I'm doing a voiceover right now, and this part that you're watching, I know you're seeing a different color. I did change it because I didn't like how the colors were lining up, so I changed it to green, but you don't have to do that. I'm just letting you know, guys. So I'll change colors and then I'll be back to tell you guys how many rows I made for the front panel. So I made a total of 38 rows. My back panel measures 20 inches long, so I made sure that my front panel measured 20 inches as well. So that's what you need. You need to measure, they need to be equal in inches. So you're going to go ahead and make your second front panel, and then we're going to align it very well with the back panel, and we're going to join the sides and leave out the armholes. So that's our next step. Get your tape measure, and you're going to measure how many inches you need for your sleeve. Mine is going to be 7 inches long. So I'm going to place there my hook, or you can place there a stitch marker. But this is where I'm going to start joining, going downwards and leaving that upper part for my arm. Okay, so you're going to make a slip knot with whatever color you want to use for this part. I'm going to use black. Okay, and you need to join this from the wrong side, not from the right side. So I'm turning my piece to the wrong side, and then I'm going to start joining. Okay. So you're going to attach the color that you're going to use. Chain 1 to secure that part. And I'm going to be using the single crochet stitch to join the sides. Chain 1 in that same space, go back with a single crochet, and then I'm going to go through the next space and make a single crochet. Then here I'm going to make 2 single crochets in the same space. So there are no actual stitches here, but I'm just inserting my hook wherever it goes, and I just make a single crochet, making sure that both panels, both back and front panel, are aligned very well. If you need, you can place a stitch marker to make sure that your work does not move. Okay, so I'm going to repeat that, making single crochets all the way to the end of both panels. Make 2 single crochets. Then in the next space, you're going to make 1 single crochet, and you're going to repeat like that. 2 single crochets, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, 1 single crochet, like that. So I'm at the end. This is where it ends. So I'm going to make a single crochet right here. Excuse my daughter, guys. That's my daughter laughing in the background. So to complete this, you're going to go through the last 2 stitches with a single crochet, and then in that very last space you're going to go back with a slip stitch like that. Chain 1, get your scissors and cut off the yarn, and attach it on the other side of your vest, and you're going to repeat the same thing we just did here. Take your measurement for the sleeve and then join the rest of it, okay, leaving out the sleeve part open. So this is how it looks after joining. Okay, now repeat the same process on the other side, and then I'll do the same thing, and then I'll be back once I'm done with that, and then I'll show you guys what we need to do next. This is what you'll have after joining both sides. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make a row around the edging right here, all the way around to the other side of our vest. So I'm going to be using black for this part as well. So I'm going to make a slip knot, and I'm going to attach my yarn. So this is my last stitch. I'm going to insert my hook right there. Okay. Then I'm going to chain up 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to chain 4, and then in the next space you're going to make 3 double crochets. Make 3 double crochets in the next space. Chain 1. Make 3 double crochets into the next space. Chain 1. Make 3 double crochets into the next space. And you're going to repeat that pattern all the way around. Chain 1, 3 double crochets into the next space. I'm going to repeat that, and then I'll be back, guys, after this round. So I have worked my way all the way around here, as you can see. So now I'm going to show you how to finish up here, but I also want to make a row around the bottom part of our vest. I chained 1 here already, and I'm now going to yarn over and make a double crochet on top of the 3rd chain. Okay, this first chain that we have for this last row. So yarn over and place a double crochet. Like that. Okay, this is the same thing we got on this other side of our vest. So now I want to make a row at the bottom. To do that, I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. It's going to count as my first double crochet. My phone is not focusing. This is going to count as my first double crochet. Then I'm going to yarn over, and in this first space I'm going to make 2 double crochets. That is 2 and 3. You'll have something like that. Chain 1 and make 3 double crochets in the next chain 1 space. chain 1, make 3 double crochets in the next chain 1 space, and you're going to repeat that across for this row. Oops. Okay, once you get here, this is where we joined from. Going to chain 1, then you're going to yarn over and make 3 double crochets in this chain 2 space. Okay, so insert your hook and make 3 double crochets, chain 1, then continue making 3 double crochets in every chain 1 space. All right, you're going to repeat that across. To complete the row at the bottom, you're going to yarn over and make 2 double crochets in the last space. Then you're going to make your last stitch right on top of the chain. Like that. Chain 1. Get your scissors and cut the yarn. Now I want to do the same thing we just did here around the sleeves. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing, making 3 double crochets in these spaces all the way around the sleeve. Then I'll do the same thing for this sleeve as well. So before you cut any strands, please at least tie, make a few knots, and then you can cut it. This is what I have here, and we're almost done with our project, and this is how my sleeves look. Okay, so now we're going to attach the fringe at the back of our granny square. So you're going to flip it, and you need the right side to be facing you at this point. I'm going to be using a 3.75 millimeter hook, which is smaller. Then you're going to cut your fringe. My fringe is 7 inches long. I'm going to fold it like so. To attach our fringe, we're going to be doing that on the shells that we made, the ones that goes all the way to the shoulders, starting from the middle point, going all the way up. So for a closer look, you're going to insert your hook right under in the middle of the shell. Then you're going to attach your fringe. I'm using 2 strands for this part, but you can use more if you want it to be puffy. Like if you want a more packed fringe. So for me, since I'm using my leftover yarn, I really didn't have, I didn't have enough yarn to add more volume to the fringe. Okay, so next you're going to insert your hook into the middle of the next shell, and you're going to attach your fringe like so, and you're going to do that all the way until you get to where the shells end. So I'm working towards the end. My last fringe is going to go right here at the very top. This is where my last chain 2 is, or my last shell of increase. And that's it for this part. All right, now we're going to do the same thing on the other side of our granny square. So get your hook right in the middle, insert your hook and attach your granny square. I meant to say attach your fringe, guys. Oof, I don't know what's wrong with me. Attach your fringe right there. So for this middle section here, you're going to get your fringe and you're going to attach it right in the middle of you're going to attach it on top of the third chain from this shell right here, and this is going to mark as our, the point of where the fringe starts from. All right, now we're going to continue repeating the same process on the other side, and yeah, so far it looks good. This is how it looks. I'm done attaching my fringe at the back of my granny square, and this is how it looks. I really love how it turned out, and now I'm going to attach my fringe at the very bottom of our vest. Okay, so I'm going to flip it, and then I'm going to get my fringe and I'll start to attach it all around this area. Okay, so you're going to attach your fringe in every chain one space that we have at the bottom of our vest. So insert your hook right there and attach your fringe. It's that simple. So here I was attaching my fringe using the 2 strands, but I later realized that, you know, it didn't look how I wanted it to, so I added more fringe. I used 4 strands instead of 2, and attached it the same exact way. So that's why you see in the picture the fringe is more than what you're seeing here for this bottom part. All right, you're going to repeat that all the way for your vest, and then I'll be back to show you guys the full look of our vest. And there you have it. This is how it looks. This is how the back looks. The last thing we're going to make a chain. So you're going to get your yarn and you're going to double it if you want to. And then you're going to make a slip knot. And you're simply going to make chains. Just a chain to tie around your waist. You know, the front part of your waist. Okay, keep going until you have enough chains. I'm done with my chain. I really didn't count how many chains I made. But once you're done with it, you're going to pass it through like so. So you're going to tie this right here. Okay, but I want to add a fringe on mine because I still have a few left here, so I'm going to put them into work. Okay, I'm going to get this much of a fringe and I'm going to place it right in the middle or in the center of my 2 strands. Then I'm going to make a knot. Okay, I have my son right here with me, guys. That's him in the background. And then I'm going to get another strand, place it here, place my fringe right on top, and then I'm going to make a knot. All right, I'm going to do the same thing on this other side. There you have it. And that's all we had for this tutorial, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Okay, you can trim this fringe and make them shorter, which I'm going to do here. Get your scissors, hold them together, and cut. That's it. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in my next one. Bye bye.